My mother-in-law secretly DNA tested our daughter and told my husband she isn't his. She has no idea I was S8 and that we didn't want to know if the baby was my husband's. Trigger warning, SA. I told everyone my mother-in-law DNA tested our daughter and we were done with her. I have 7 siblings. 5 think I'm in the right, and the other 2 and my brother-in-law can't believe mother-in-law did that, but understands why because she didn't have the entire story and assumed I wasn't being truthful to my husband. But even if I wasn't, I can't imagine being a parent so concerned with my child's relationship that I would go to those lengths to meddle. Update, yes, we are no contact with my mother-in-law. I haven't talked to her since the dinner and my husband hasn't spoken to her since a couple days after that. She knows I was S8, and attempted to apologize to my husband when he last spoke to her, but he basically told her to piss off and he couldn't forgive her. We also had a good relationship up until this point, or so I thought. We hung out and did stuff together. I was just really hurt that she told me at dinner when I asked what the envelope was, that it's proof that you're the trash I always knew you were. Also, my answers and descriptions of what took place are intentionally vague, due to the amount of attention this got. I don't want a single person to know mine or my family's true identity and try to out my daughter's biology to my attacker or his family. If my daughter desires to do that in the future, I want that decision to be wholly hers and not have another decision about her future to be made for her against her will. I'll suffice it to say that he is in prison for life without parole, and I am not the only person he did this to. He also murdered at least one other victim. There are very few articles about this trial because it was a closed trial, and although none of the victims interviewed or are mentioned by name, they do use initials. There is also a slew of other charges he had brought against him as well. People want to know why or how I could have kept a baby knowing the possibility of the attacker being the father. And the answer is that even if I had known definitively that he was the father, my decision probably wouldn't have been different. She is as much a part of me biologically speaking as she is him. And after seeing her move around, I didn't desire an abortion, although it would have been nearly impossible for me to get one anyway where I lived. Although she was conceived in violence, she was raised in love, understanding, and acceptance. She is much more mine and my husband's than my attacker's. All he did was contribute DNA to her, nothing else. He's had no influence or part in her life and likely never will. I know DNA doesn't mean anything in the sense of who she is, but that doesn't diminish the devastation and anger I feel knowing he is responsible for any part of her. I'm honestly not sure why my husband and I were so blindsided, but I feel like you can convince yourself of anything given the right circumstances. Initially we did feel it was likely the attacker because of the year we went without conceiving, but when I got pregnant with my son pretty soon after my daughter, I know I convinced myself that not only was it a possibility, it was the only likely scenario. It's also not lost on me that the decision to keep her isn't something many people agree with, apparently according to this post, but I know I made the right decision because my daughter is the most amazing girl and I couldn't imagine my life without her. My daughter is doing well and her relationship with myself and my husband hasn't changed at all. If anything, her relationship with my husband is much better. She makes an effort to spend more time with him and they have many shared interests. My daughter said she isn't upset I didn't tell her, she's upset she had to find out when she wasn't truly ready. She's happy I was able to share such a vulnerable, horrible event with her. My son now knows the specifics and my youngest knows my daughter has a different dad, but not about my SA. People also seem to be concerned with her genetics and how it affects her future health. She already had neonatal testing for genetic disorders. I'm not a carrier of any autosomal recessive disorders, and she has had genetic testing for autosomal dominant ones and was negative. She also has had genetic testing for several different forms of cancer because of my biological family history. Anything else couldn't affect her until adulthood, and they are all almost heavily influenced by lifestyle, so they wouldn't be a concern until she's much older. I'm not sure what else to say, so I'll just once again reiterate how thankful I am for all the support. Edit to add, stop messaging me asking for the story of my SA.